Do you have a Ford from the 80s or 90s with the fabric seats that, well, where the fabric comes away from the foam and they look baggy and they look horrible? I tell you, those seats, they're not attractive when they look like that, especially the one in the thumbnail. It's pretty bad, and the seats in this car are no exception. And it doesn't matter how low mileage your Fiesta or Escort or Orion, whatever car it is, they all suffer from the same issues, age related. An 8,000 mile Ford Fiesta Mark III has recently been sold for over £6,000. The blue one, I like to say, that car in the Christmas collection video sold for over £6,000 because it's an 8,000 mile car. They do sell, but even that car, it had signs of baggy seats. Age, not mileage. So these seats are coming out, and I'll show you exactly how to do it properly. Oh, excuse me, it's still windy. Excuse me. Yeah, we have a bit of a problem. Oh, I had to get the selector console out just to have a look underneath. Just wanted to clean some grime up. But I did take the side plates off, absolutely clean, nothing to see. I put them back on, really nothing to see. The carpet's going to get a really nice clean. I'm not removing the carpet because I just don't see any need. There's too many things I will disturb. But anyway, we've got 4 bolts, no electrics, 10 mils, off we go. Oh yeah, I forgot I loosened this one before. It's always a good practice to see whether things will loosen before, but God, this is just awful. Awful. It's a bit stiff, this one. The bolt. Front one, rear one. Okay, the ones at the back have a washer, ones at the front single bolt. Might be different for a variety of cars, but Fiesta Mark III's, this is how they roll. Just be wary when you're sitting in the seat, you might just go backwards. It's always the last one that's a little bit stiffer to get out because all the pressure of the seat is on that bolt. I think we could say we're free now. Let's get this out. These are done. This is always the awkward bit, is to make sure you don't damage the trim. Try and take the seat out with the head restraint first, or use the back door. You can't use the back door in this case. Lovely. Gosh, this is lightweight. This is the lightest. These are the lightest front seats I've ever airlifted out of a car. What a sorry excuse of a seat. It's a bit more stuck down. I think someone's been in there in the past, but the whole frame's going to be looked at. I'll get a bit of paint on the frame. I've done exactly the same procedure with the passenger seat, but it definitely needs a bit of a paint because, you know, I can see that there's no trim covering this, so I'll be painting a few bits and pieces up. But just shut that door now. Oh, we have so much room, and this is your opportunity to clean the carpets, guys. Yes. Now, I would think about removing that centre console, but there's a little bug in me saying don't mess with anything because, you know, you might break something and then regret it. And I don't want to be breaking things. I want to be doing things that I need to do and not things that I don't. But quite interestingly, the bulb arrangement on the selector actually moves with the selector lever. If you just watch, it's actually clipped to the actual rod itself, and you take this blue cap off and it reveals the little bulb inside. How nice is that? I'll just slip that back over the rod. There we go. I have to say, one thing I don't like about this car is this selector lever. I can understand with the Mark IV Fiesta, when the Mark IV came out, this gearbox was still available. The CTX was still available until 2002, believe it or not, in the Mark V. And they changed the gear lever to the more modern straight shift lever instead of this stupid arrangement. I hate them. It's horrible. You have to push it down, and then you're kind of like fighting against it. You never feel as if you're in control. I hate that. I don't like that at all. But anyway, I've taken the panel off, and I want to show you this now. It only comes off with it's only held in with like these sort of sturdy things, and it goes in. It's like a friction fit, but you'd think that this was plastic. Nah, that's metal. It's actually metal and not plastic. What the heck? You think they'd be saving weight by making that plastic? Oh no, definitely not. So I'll just pop that in there. Oh, I've actually got a handbook as well. I bought a handbook, strange enough, just to go in, the owner's handbook. This was missing from the car when I bought it. So I'm trying to add a few things back that the car would have had, and trying to build up a history of the car. And, well, it's a shame the car doesn't have any history that came with it. But the truth is, I'm making my own history bit by bit. I'm going to have to clean down there where people have put their left foot. But I'll clean all around the back. I love the console. I have to say about a Mark III Fiesta, I love the console. Anyway, this is about the seats. Let's crack on and shut shop. Right, inside. Now we're going to strip the seat down bit by bit. And there really isn't a lot to it. It can be a bit faffy initially stripping the seat, but I have now got the hindsight of having stripped the passenger seat and rebuilt it. And I'll show you the results before and after. So this is the driver's seat, looking rather sorry for itself. Dirty fabric work, and all the lines have kind of gone missing. You know, it doesn't really have any form, or it's just some of its features and its shape a little bit. Oh yes, and the passenger seat is really looking good for itself. We've got some new black trim clips that I've had to replace, and we've given the whole base a bit of a clean. You can now see all the lines. It's got its forms and everything is stuck down. Oh, it looks absolutely amazing. There's just a little area that I missed there. There's bound to be, see what I mean? There's bound to be a little area where you miss, but overall it looks absolutely fantastic, and the material has been in the wash and it looks absolutely fabulous. See the difference? This looks quite dirty, whereas this has gone a darker grey because it's just been washed properly. And you can see you still get some of the creases. You can't iron out these creases. I suspect this material, I think it shrinks over time. I really do. I think it shrinks over time, which is why they go so bad. But I've also cleaned up the rails across as well, because this is what you can see in the car. On this side especially, all this here was quite rusty, so I gave it a bit of a spray up before bolting it back onto the subframe. But that is what we're actually aiming for. I do apologise, my camera seems really liable to playing up at the moment. I'm not focusing in, but this is yeah, a bit dirty there. It's actually really good on this one, strangely. I don't think I'm going to have to respray this as much. No, a tiny bit there, but not much to talk about whatsoever. Brilliant. Right, well, let's get down and start stripping it. I've got everything in my box, and let's go. Okay, right, what we want is to remove this seat base as the first thing. Well, what we can do actually is try. Right, okay. So bring the seat base to the bottom. Okay, so we've got this plastic sort of subframe with the runners. Okay, now what we want to do first is get this seat base off the bottom, and you do this by taking out these two screws. They're like little plastic plug screws. You'll find them at the back of the backrests, for the rear seats, etc. They're quite easy to remove. They can be a bit stiff. Now, they can round. So if they start rounding, you may have to get a flat blade strap. Ah, no, it's actually coming out quite nicely. Oh, this is interesting. The passenger side was a bit reluctant to do so. There we go. Should be fine. There we go. And this is now loose. They're just plugs. They're plastic plugs with a Phillips head in there. They can round quite easily, so be prepared for that. And I just, one of them completely rounded on me, so I had to sort of make a notch for a flat-bladed screwdriver and managed to get them out. And that was on the passenger seat. So I'll just put that in there, and then we can take this seat base completely off. There we go. That is one seat base completely off. And I've got a feeling, yeah, someone's been in here before. Look at this. Got to remove all of this. This is no good. We've got to scrape all of this off and start again. That's the time-consuming bit of this process. But put this seat slab on the side. Right. Okay, so we've got the seat base at the bottom, and we've got basically what you sit on. Now, there was a couple of things that came out with the slab. We've got these two rubber pieces that sit here. There's one there and there's one there, but they just slip out. And that's easy enough. But I managed to actually take this spring pad out of the other one. But I've got a feeling I was lucky with that one on the passenger seat. These are very, very tight, and I actually don't want to mess with it. I'm going to vacuum all this out because there's so much sediment of foam everywhere. It's untrue. But I'm just going to bring you in here further, and I will show you exactly what we're dealing with here. So we've got a 13mm down there, 13mm down there, 13mm there, and a 13mm there, and that's what holds the runners on. And that will detach the runners from the plastic base, and it will detach the frame that holds the top rest, the backrest, sorry, top rest. I'm making my own words up now. The backrest, because you've got this subframe that goes all the way here, and it connects to this bar linkage here. So you'll see what I mean. So it sandwiches the actual the runners with the seat base with the backrest. They shouldn't be overly tight whatsoever. There we go. Loosen these up. There you go. And when this is free, it should all come apart. So I've got these two nuts. Right, there's another two as well, and it should theoretically, if I just do this, there we go. Ah, there you go. It splits into three: the legs, the subframe, and the back. See what I mean? All this is linked together, and I've got to think, oh, all the springs have come out. Lovely, fantastic. There we go. Take all that out. That's going to be an interesting exercise to get back in. So make sure the legs, well, just take the legs away, and the other one. Make sure you got these springs and just hook them out of the frame. I was hoping to keep this in situ, but it turns not. Now, the correct way for this to sit down is, you see on this side, the steel springs are sitting more on the top side than the bottom side, and that's the way you want to be. But I'm going to keep it on that side, put the springs on the side, and yeah, this subframe needs this base needs a bit of a clean. We'll get the vacuum on that. Right, so it's all starting to come apart very easily, and now we've got the backrest, just the backrest. Right, now as you can see here, the one thing I want to detach is this frame. So we've got this L-shaped frame that attaches to the main backrest. It's held in with two Torx belts. Now I've got to be honest with you, it's Torx T50s, and I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to go in with a blooming gun. Straight out. Come on. See what I mean? Whole thing's free now, so put them in. And good. Ow, watch your fingers. There we go, completely detached. There you go, we've got this sort of L, sort of H frame or whatever it is that goes all the way around, and I'm going to put that on the side. That's going to be cleaned as well. Right, now we've got the backrest completely. Now what I am going to do is just attach the headrest. Come on, just put it in and pull it out. Lovely, that will go on the side as well. We'll do all these parts individually. Now the way of getting these, I was trying to work out how to remove these. Now, there's no particular way of removing them on a lot of cars, but on this car, it seems you have to twist them. You have to twist them this way. So twist it to the right to lock it, and twist it to the left. Twist it to the left to unlock it, and you can just pull effectively. I think it should come out. Still doesn't want to come out. Just get something in there. Oh my goodness me, it still doesn't want to come out. There you go. Unfortunately, it still doesn't want to play ball. You've got to be just gentle and take your time. That is very weird how it's not actually still not coming out. I'm going to leave it like that, but this one also twists. I think this twists. I'll check these out in a second, but we'll come back to that. Right, okay. So what we're left with is the backrest. I am going to remove this. Now, this requires a tiny little screwdriver just to remove the centerpiece. Okay, just be very gentle, we don't want to damage anything. There we go, out we come. Simple as that. Okay, and this is basically splined in. Now, there's no real way of doing this. I did use a sort of penetrating spray. And I'm going to use that. Be very careful. And this. There we go. It's starting to come out. There we go. There we are, that's coming out. That's almost off. Come on. just put it in and just persuasion, bit by bit by bit. There we go, lovely, and absolutely no damage whatsoever. It's just keyed in. There we go. Put that on the side, so it's a bit more free now. Now, this is where it can get a little bit funny in terms of how the backrest is actually attached to basically the plastic shell. Okay. Now, the first point of entry, I always think when you're doing this for the first time, and this is how I did it on the passenger seat, you just keep looking and keep prying back to have a look inside to see what various points of entry there are, because we're not quite sure, unless you put these together in the factory, you're not sure how they were assembled, and therefore how do they come apart. So you've got to be very careful, and this is where auto upholstery is expensive, because it's it's absolutely time consuming, and it's finding, I mean, imagine all the different seats that auto upholsterers have to encounter. Now, usually certain techniques are used to keep everything together, but every seat is different, and you've got to treat it like, if I pull this too hard, it's going to disintegrate, the foam is going to split, it's going to tear. You've got to treat it in that manner. So I actually found a weak point, a point of entry at the bottom. So at the bottom, this whole material is held in with these clips. Now, I don't know if you can see that one clip where my finger is there, but you just pull it back. They're like friction clips. And I'll just see if I can get these back. So it's going to be a bit difficult on camera. Yeah, just pull this back. Okay. So it might take a bit of time. Thought I would actually come back to the top side to release these two. Now I've just managed to pry up on this and get it moving. There we go. Done. That's out. It's literally just a friction fit. You push it in and then you turn it to the right by a quarter of a turn and it locks. So that's the one. Now this locking one goes on the passenger side, so I'll remember that when I refer to this video. I've just managed to twist this just slightly. What I'm going to do is do exactly the same technique and just get a screwdriver gently and just whack it with a hammer. There we go. Done. Done. That's a good technique. Lovely. And it's only going one way, so you have to find like a little notch to put them back in. This one won't come out all the way. There we go. Done. Okay. Now, because these are free, we can actually get this to move a little bit more this way. Now, the way this material is, I'll tell you now before you start taking this off. The way this material is clung on to the actual foam, it's attached to the foam, obviously, or well, only a little bit is these days, but it goes on the frame, the black frame inside this plastic cladding, okay, and it's attached by little slits where there's little holes in the material, and it just attaches itself. It's quite interesting. I've actually hooked it in a similar fashion, but actually a slightly different fashion. But that means you can't really do this. You can't detach it as such at the moment. You have to be very, very careful. Oh dear, this is what's happened. It's literally the backing of the material has just collapsed into dust. This is where it gets messy, guys. It's going to get really messy on the carpet. It's going to fall all over the... Oh god, we've got dust falling out the other side. Oh dearie me. Yeah, so just keep ripping this material. This is where it gets really mucky. There we go. I've released it off a clip. Yeah, this is the clip I'm talking about, guys. There's just a little clip just here. It's like a little C clip. I didn't reuse them. I actually put the passenger one back together without using these clips. I actually hooked it in a completely different manner. But just keep persevering with this. God. Come on, just release. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Look at that. See that, guys? There's nothing. There's literally, the fabric is literally not attached to this at all. Hello. Oh, God. Excuse me. I'm sneezing. This is just dust from the old. See, that's what remains. This brown, dusty. Oh. My torch. Just absolutely everywhere. I mean, honestly, there's. I mean, look, it's raining it everywhere. Ah, dearie me. Look at that, it's just raining it everywhere. Now, my attention is now going to shift to this side. Now, my attention is now going to shift to the side. Now, obviously, we've released the bottom. I mean, this is just pathetic. I mean, there's nothing left of that. We're going to have to look at these trim clips. Now, these are fir tree clips. And these are grey ones. That would have been, wow. It's even faded. It's not even the same colour. So I've got some black ones of these. And I think they're roughly about 8mm. 8mm fir tree clips. And this will fit perfectly fine. Now, I'm not going to even bother using a pry bar with this. I'm just going to go in with a tool that I really don't want to be using too much. What I am going to do is whip this cover away as much as possible. Basically, this cover, as I say, is hooked in at the back where it's got little holes in. So you've got to kind of move the material this way and then bring it round the little tab. And I'll show you that. You'll know exactly what I mean when I get all this off. But it's got to come most of the way off. Okay. Now, the way we're going to have to get this trim clip out, I say I could just go in with the pry bar tool if I actually found it. No, I haven't got it. That's the point, actually. I'm going to, if you've got a hacksaw or a cordless saw, I'm not joking you. I intend to do this. But the problem is there's a risk of cutting the material. So we've got to try and get this material away. So just keep tugging away. Right, what I've done is I struggled to get it over the tang, but a hole's just happened. But that's okay because you won't ever see that hole. It's on this side. I've just managed to whip it out the way, and now I can go straight in with this nasty. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the inside of this fir tree clip off. Believe you me, you won't be able to pry these out. They are so flexible, they are absolutely stuck into heaven and earth. So let's just go straight in there, move the foam out the way and cut. Done. There we go, sorted. Let's take that out. And look at that, it's free on the side. Fantastic. Let me just pop that out and just, cut that into shreds and throw that in the bin. And as we can see, guys, this is what we were trying to achieve. There we go. It just stays in there. It goes through this little thread here. And we can throw that in the bin as well. Now you can see what I mean about this material. So basically this material goes around this bit. I had to rip it. I just had to rip it. There's no way you can go about it. But it's not a problem, but oh my God, it's just disintegrating. And we can see, most of it's there. Fantastic. I'm just going to... Ooh. Well, that's interesting. While the plastic prongs has actually come off. Well, that's okay. But you can literally, you just hook it this way. Okay? You got some sort of plastic tangs, metal tangs that have been bent over in the factory, just to hold it in place. And you've just got to go to the left and to the right. They're just little holes. That's it. And you just do that all over the shop. And we've got to go to the other side and repeat the same procedure. Done. Yeah. Got that clip in the bin. And we can take the back off. My God. Ugh, this is disgusting. So, the back bit is over here. Front bit, yeah, just whip this off. Oh, it's just absolutely disintegrated. Yeah, this is what needs to be done. I mean, look at that. It's literally just not even attached to the middle. This is dusty and nasty and blah, nasty. Right, so if we just move that on the side, this is going to have to be cleaned out. It's just full of debris. It's like leaves. I noticed that the bracket for actually spinning the seat is held in by these plastic tabs. This one is a bit loose. Oh, actually, I'll just yeah, I'll re-glue that on. I'll put some Gorilla Glue on. It looks like they've used some sort of form of Gorilla Glue resin in the first place. So, yeah, that is to be cleaned. I'll just put that on the pile over there. A lot of vacuuming to be done. Lots of mess. Looks like I've got leaves everywhere. It's not just leaves. But anyway, what I want to do is take the rest of this material off because I want to get this in the washing machine. Well, what I want to do is obviously clean it up first, but just very careful. There's lots of sharp metal everywhere. You just got a couple of tags along here. Just pull down, and there we go. And I think that's free. Yay! It is free. Lovely. Right, that's going to be brushed down as well. Thank you. And we are left with the foam, which we can just rip off the frame, the rest of the frame, by just taking out all of these stupid springs. And it's literally, I say it's simple. It never is. There we go. Get the first one out. And these springs are just attached to the inside frame. That's it. You don't have to keep them on. You can take them out. You know, they're just standard springs, really. Come on. Quite interesting, actually, because usually you'd have some sort of webbing at the back, but it looks like it's actually embedded inside this coating, this casing, this sort of polystyrene style casing. I find it quite interesting because I've dissected now seats on 4 different cars. A Rover P6. I did a little bit on Beatrix, just on the driver's seat, not too much. The Focus Mark 1. And now this. And all the seat designs are completely different. But I can understand, this was one of the main features of this car, because the Mark III Fiesta was the first one to have a lightweight seat with these plastic cladding shells instead of all metal and metal backed to save weight. I mean, the weightiest thing is this, the frame itself. That frame, we're going to clean that on the side in a second. And this foam needs to be brushed. Still got dust all over the place. This will come off very easy, but it needs to be scrubbed in. You can see the wear on the seat sort of down here. This is where you get normal wear. But yeah, there's no damage or anything. Not at all. Just some Ford finish codes on the back side. Yeah. Got a stamp here. But I've no idea what it means. I have no idea where this factory be. Might have been a factory in Europe for all I know. Right, cleaning. Washing area is waiting for this material to be washed. So let's whip it off. Take this. Someone has definitely had a go in here before because we have evidence of contact adhesive. So someone's had a go before, which is why you got to be very careful, because if you rip too much, you can end up taking the foam, which just minutely has just a little bit. So just be careful. But there we go. So someone has glued the corner. So someone's had a quick and then pushed it all the way down, and you can't do it that way. It doesn't last. You need to do it the way I'm doing, and that's a full strip down. And many people wouldn't be bothered about that. They just want to make it look better than it was before. I mean, I guarantee doing that wouldn't make it look better. It would make it look better, but it's not going to be a long-term solution. You need to clean the surface. Contact adhesive this is what I'm going to be using. This stuff that's on here, baked on by the look of it, this is what I'm going to be using. Now, I'm going to try and peel as much of this off as possible before it goes in the washing machine, but it's not entirely necessary because I've had good adhesion on other panels, but still. But all this is going to be cleaned and vacuumed again because of the dust. It's just everywhere at the moment, so you really have to go carefully. But just whip this. There we go. Whoa. Done. Quite dirty. We'll scrub that down in a second. And this, yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Actually, there's staples in this side. I've noticed on a couple of these there are staples, so you have to be very careful, especially removing all of them, making sure they are gone. So remove the staples and put it in a safe place. Do not tread on them later. That's my advice. You don't want staples because this is going to go in the washing machine. It depends how you want to wash it. But I think since I've removed them, washing machine is absolutely necessary. But take the staples out, otherwise you're going to, wow, that'll be me looking for a new interior. Well, driver's seat, because the rest are done. But just remove all the staples. I have to say, that is a lot of contact adhesive. Someone has been in there before several times and tried to glue it down. I'm not quite sure. The other seats have got some evidence of contact adhesive on it also, but only in the corners. This is quite a bit. I'm going to have to peel a lot of this off before I proceed, because that's not a good surface. So I'll try and get as much off as possible before it goes in the washing machine. Now, the foam itself, we want to remove, preferably. See, this is nasty. Now, what you want is one of these, a brass wire brush. Now, in terms of the foam, you want one of these. You want a brass wire brush. That's it. Just just one of these softer ones, okay? They won't do too much harm, because we want to get as much of this stuff off as possible. But I'll just scrape it. It will come off, and it will just key, see what I mean? Look at this. It will key the surface. This is old contact adhesive. Now, what I will do is I will wash this down in water and just give it a really good soak, and then go in with the brush again. We have to remove all this stuff. We can't have this on here at all, which is why it's important that I remove as much from there as possible. This is okay. This is just, you know, no one's tried to glue this before. It's just all brown dust and that. So yeah, so I'm going to keep doing this, make sure that it's all gone, okay, from that base and that base over there. Have a vacuum at the ready, and make yourself as comfortable as possible, because this is going to take some time. This is the time consuming bit of the process. So the frame might get a bit of paint work. We'll white spirit it and paint it. That'll be cleaned. That'll be cleaned and painted if necessary in places. The runners will need a bit of a paint. The plastic base will just need that repair to that tag that's just starting to come off with Gorilla Glue. That will obviously need the same treatment as this, but this will need to be concentrated. Most of my work will be here. I will cut back, and I'll see you in a couple of days' time, because that's how long it might take. Well, Andrew, we're on the, I've lost count of how many buckets of black water that have come out this thing at the moment. We have done that side, we have done this section, the worst section, obviously. Haven't done this section. Yeah, absolutely knee deep in rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Ugh. Excuse me.